Hi guys, today I wanted to make a lesson about pentatonic scales and how you can use them to play over major 7 chords. I want to do a few lessons on this, so I want to take different chords and then show which pentatonic scales that I use when I'm improvising on them. We probably all learn pentatonic scales really early in our guitar player career, and we use it really a lot for various AC/DC solos and blues solos and so on. So we might as well, since we already know it so well, we might as well try and use it when we're playing over more complicated chord changes or more rich chords with more extensions on it. And it works really well for that too, and there's also a long tradition to do this in jazz already. For this lesson I'm sort of assuming that you already know all 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. If you don't know them, go check it out, it's useful. You need it for anything where you need to play pentatonics, which is most kinds of music. I'm just going to take some pentatonic scales that I use when I'm improvising on major 7 chords. I'm not really gonna go into too much of the process of selecting them. I think what I do is that I take the more obvious ones. If you're picking out 5 notes to play over a chord, then it doesn't make too much sense to pick out 5 notes and then have one being an avoid note that you can't really land on, that you can't really use that much. So if you look through all the pentatonic scales, then you'll probably see that these 3 are the most obvious ones to use. I think the one that I didn't use that you could argue would be close would be something like a D minor or F major pentatonic. But again, then you have the F, and that doesn't work that well on major 7 sound, C major 7 sound. So I didn't do that. So everything here is on a C major chord. That sounds like this. And the first one is obviously the C major or the A minor pentatonic scale. I tend to think the pentatonic scales in minor because that's how I learned them first, but I'm listing them both as major or minor, whatever you're used to. So in this case, so C major 7 or C6, you have this C major pentatonic scale or A minor. And a line on that. And what I'm using here is just, well, running up the scale, which is also the sort of the famous Coltrane pattern. And this is sort of an, well, I mean, it's part of the pentatonic scale, but it's also sort of an A sus arpeggio. Because the pentatonic scale, to me, has really a sort of sus-ish sound. If you check my lesson on how you build chords in the pentatonic scale, you'll also notice that you get like a lot of stacks of 4th, which are also sus chords. So that's probably why that sounds like that. So the next line using the C major or A minor pentatonic sounds like this. And what I'm using here is simply a C major triad. And then this is sort of using the 5th of the chord as a pedal point. And then making a small melody on the top string here. In general, using the A minor or C major pentatonic on a C chord, of course, it's traditionally sort of the country sound, so it works really well for that. I think it's good to have some sort of reference to how each scale sounds, and that can be something that you pick out of what notes are in there and or how it's used. So in this case, I think I'm really sort of leaning on hearing sort of a country vibe, maybe also calypso a bit, maybe. Yeah, so that's, I think a lot of the stuff that I do in general actually is that I'm trying to sort of put some sort of atmosphere or description on everything I play if I have a group of notes and how they sound, because then I have an idea how they sound and they're easy to use, and how I what I can achieve with, using this over a chord and where it fits. But of course, that's just how I work. Let's take the next scale, which is the E minor or G major pentatonic. So the scale is like this. Or at least in this position it is. If we play that against the C major 7 chord, now we don't have a C anymore, but we do have the major 7. So basically we have an E minor 7, arpeggio, and an A. And so that means that we have a C major 9 with a 13 and then no C when we're playing it. So that's the kind of sound that you get on it. And since it's anyway sort of very close to the notes that I'm already playing, if I'm playing a C major 7 chord, then it's a fairly easy scale to use. Maybe also something that might be worth mentioning is that when you start practicing this, using these pentatonic scales, I mean, make sure that you have all your basic exercises like all that stuff covered. The more of those you know, the easier it is to come up with good lines, or maybe something will sort of fall out of your hands by itself. And then don't use the lines that you already have in your fingers. Really stay with in the beginning, okay, how does each note sound, what can I make with it, and don't play all your back in black quotations when you're playing E minor pentatonic over a C major 7 chord. At least not in the beginning. Later maybe you'll hear it and then it works really well. But if you start out with that, you probably won't hear the C major 7 anymore. Okay, so let's do some of the lines on that. The first line sounds like this. So this is again, it's like a fourth sort of sus thing, and then it's basically an E minor arpeggio, and then with the notes moved around a bit. The next line is like this. Again, well, it's actually a technical exercise, equivalent of diatonic thirds in the scale, in fact. And then, yeah, to me, that's really an E sus 7 arpeggio, I guess. Also that sound again. The last pentatonic scale that I'm using is the B minor or D major pentatonic. So that would be this scale. And what's special about that is that instead of having a fifth, we now have a sharp 11 or a flat 5 in the scale, which means that you can't use it in all situations, probably because it's not always that sound is going to fit too well with with the context of the major 7 chord. But of course that kind of goes for everything that you use. It has to sort of fit in wherever it is you're playing it. Okay, so the first line using that scale will be something like this. So what I'm using there is, which is again, so it's just a scale fragment out of the pentatonic scale. I think it's sort of the minor equivalent of the Coltrane 4-note pattern from Giant Steps. Is again using this scale exercise, and then I'm just resolving to the 3rd. The second example is something like this. So in this example I'm ending on the sharp 11 just to emphasize that note. The chords that I'm using, well, this is an E sus triad, and then you get, which is just part of the scale, essentially. Okay, so those were the examples. I hope that you can use the stuff that I went over here. I'm gonna make some more lessons on how to apply pentatonics, since it's a very useful thing to check out for guitarists. And if you have any comments, then leave them here on the video, or feel free to connect with me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Google+. If you like the video and if you like the stuff I'm doing, then please like the video. You can subscribe to my channel, and of course feel free to share my lessons on whatever social media that you're busy with. So thank you for watching.